3, 2, 1, action.
3, 2, 1, action. There is
the film boy.
There is Paul Edmondson starting the Paul Edmondson episode 2 of the Paul Edmondson interview. And he's used to seeing one of them. We're going to get onto that shortly because this, if you watch the first episode, we spoke heavily about Paul's racing career, particularly in America, and the shenanigans that went on there, mostly between these two.
Some of the shenanigans.
Yeah. Some of the shenanigans. Now we're moving into those days when...
Not eating so much candy nowadays, kid, as I used to.
No.
No.
No, you're...
Go on, say what you're going to say.
No. We did a few trips, didn't we, mate? We did a few trips.
So now we're moving into that part, you know, you finished your racing and then what comes next? And for a lot of people, they don't really have a plan. Did you
have a plan or just landed in your lap? You just, what happened?
Yeah, I had it all landed.
So we're talking early 2000s now.
So now, obviously...
2001, we were done in the States.
Yeah, came back from America, obviously needed to get a real job. But no, I
Young
continued.
family. How old was Jack then?
Jack would have been, he'd have been about 4 or 5. So that's when we started the Raider motocross days.
And did you have them both at that point?
No, so yeah, Harry had literally he'd just appeared as well.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, I got my hands full.
Yeah, two young kids.
2 young kids. As we all know, we do rely on the ladies to do a lot of the work, and Mandy was amazing.
Yeah. Mandy's a star.
She is a good mum. Let me focus, obviously, on my riding and towards the tail end of my riding, which I came back from the US, finished off in Europe, as we know, got more ISDE medals under my belt, as it were.
What teams were you on then when you came back?
I came back to Husqvarna, to an old friend of mine, Fabrizio Azolin. And then from there, I created my own Honda team, which got supported from UFO. Mm-hmm. And then after that, it was just a case of like very bitty and bitten body, as it were, whatever you call bitty and batty. It was just one of those. It was like, it was meant to be, but it was just like I was riding for fun. Relentless Suzuki, if you remember, all these kind of little deals where I just enjoyed it, and I still enjoyed riding. Friend of mine, Stuart Lyons, Maximum Solutions, he helped us out a little bit. Paul Rowland's Par Homes, you know, all the people that, you know, for me, towards the tail end of my career, it was nice.
It's always like around then, it's a similar thing kind of happened to me. It's like you're just giving yourself a little bit more thinking time because you don't want to stop completely.
Yeah.
And you're so engrossed in the sport that to just step away from it. Some people can do it, some people can't.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a little bit more time. And then all of a sudden, like a clear vision comes into line. Is that kind of where it went for you?
I think so, yeah. And, you know, I realised that probably after the 2 or 3 years when I came back, 2004, running my own Honda team, Roger Harvey, massive help. Roger was to get me the bikes and do my own thing. And he did warn me, actually, Roger. He was, we all know he's a clever guy. Mm-hmm. And he said, you know, just keep it nice and small. And there was me and Paul Whibley. And he said, yeah, just the 2 riders. That's great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, we're going to help these people. We're going to do that. Anyway, typical me, just went in too heavy, too hard, and ended up spending a lot of money. And in the end, it just wasn't really viable. Yeah. So that's when I needed the help of people like Paul and other people to help me out, which just saw me through to the end of my career, which, again, like, you know, finishing off the 6 days, I think ended up getting 18 gold medals. Obviously, it was a massive honour to represent your country. We all know that. But I've also, helped a lot of other people. I've never done it, have
you? No. So,
I can't say
I have. 3 of us on these couches, one of us knows what that's like.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was just a fitting end to a long career. And then obviously during that period, then again, we all know that the Fast Eddy Cross Country Championship appeared.
So was that like, for the thing, like you went to America, did the GNCC, which is like a 3-hour multi-lap race. Yeah. It's not enduro. It's a 3-hour motocross around a big circuit. It's not like 3 hours around a little, half an hour laps. And then you introduced that to the UK because, I remember you thinking, I think this could work in England. I think this could be what people want.
We were all like, our 3-hour races were just around fields and there was no real razzmatazz and all that. You go to America, they play the national anthem and you were getting like goosebumps on the line. You felt that you were somewhere pretty damn special.
That's a big deal.
Which you were, because the GNCCs were a big deal. And I just remember, like, I had a friend of mine, Tony Harwood, again, who I owe a lot to, who came over, supported me throughout my career. And he said he was always... He saw the crash that I had in America when I blew my knee out, and it was a big one. I'm not just saying it was a massive one. Very lucky in the fact that the bike hit the tree and I didn't. He saw that, and I think it was at that point where Tony said, look, I need you to do something other than ride a motorbike. And he was, really pushing me to do this event, and he came to America, saw what I wanted to do, came back, helped me, along with a guy called Pete Carter, who also helped us. And we created the original Fast Eddy at Hawkston Park. We brought Steve Hatch over.
Yeah.
David Knight, who really, that put David Knight on the map into what a great rider he became. Yeah. But racing against the American, I don't think I raced it, actually.
You didn't.
Probably would have got beat.
I don't think you did.
But I didn't race it. But as you can remember, it was rammed. I mean,
I actually rode that race, and I remember telling you on the start.
Did you?
Oh yeah,
this is
on a
this
CRF
is news.
450, and I remember sitting there, and I'm like, there's like the 5-second thing goes up, and I said, I'm just going to kick it because I know what happens. As soon as one bike starts, they all go. And I said to him, I'm just going to go, and he gives out, you can't, kid, and I'm like,
yeah,
watch.
So I was watching him. I was with the flag watching him.
And I'm like,
so as soon as I heard something like the flag had gone,
exactly. He heard the bike and then dropped the flag.
Unbelievable. And that's
And did you lead? Did you lead?
No, but I was up there.
No, he didn't leave.
5 yards even, Rob. You must have
I
led
had a good
for
start. And
Yeah.
then I realised I wasn't.
He
as
had
fit
a
as
good
I'd like.
start, but there was 250 riders on the start line.
Yeah, exactly.
So we had two races. I think the morning race had 250. The other race had 200. 450.
Mental, yeah.
It blew up. We played the national anthem and we did all the bits just to make it different.
Really
and of course, where better than Hawkston Park to have your first race?
No,
and that was the beginning of the Fast Eddy events.
I can remember. I went to the one at Matchams first year, because Matchams is my home track.
Yeah.
And
I rode that one as well.
Yeah, and I remember being down there and really enjoying it.
Never known you rode so much.
No,
I
not
enjoyed
at
it.
all.
They were good fun, man. They were all
I
right.
don't remember any of that.
Oh, because I
seeing you
wasn't
then.
exactly at the sharp end, kid.
No. But being a motocross rider, as it obviously at the time.
I went out with Jen Motley the night before. That's what state.
Yeah,
I was
well,
in.
that's always
That's the state I was in, kid.
and he knows the area well.
He
That'd
does
be
know,
messy.
yes.
I remember being down at Matchams and being really impressed with it. I'm not saying that because say it, because I'd never really watched an enduro. Obviously, I had seen it on TV and whatever, but I'd never actually been to. And I know it's not enduro; it's a different thing. But that world,
It's a spectacle, isn't it? When you see it,
and
it's a
I
lot
remember
of-
being down there and watching one section and watching Nitro. I think you rode that one.
Yeah.
He was that actually did the Matchams one.
Yeah.
And I remember being stood there in one of those whooped out sections that I grew up on before they laid a track down at Matchams. First 3 years of me going there, you just paid your money, could go anywhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it was like that. And I remember you put a bit of the course in what I remember riding as a kid, which wasn't on the actual track they laid out. And I was thinking, I know a whoopie it gets through there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and watch that. And it was really cool to stand there.
Yeah.
And like you say, but if it was been a regular enduro, I wouldn't have gone out to watch it.
No.
Because you don't see it. You see them once and then you're like, they're gone all day.
Yeah, well, that was it. We brought the spectacle of the 3 hour races from America. Obviously, probably about on average 12 to 15 minutes a lap is what we could get. But we used to use every ounce of the circuit and everywhere, probably where we shouldn't have gone. But, we wanted to make a big lap. And like Matchams, motocross track, the kids track, the supercross track, the woods.
Yeah,
the paintball woods. I mean, we were everywhere. But there were great years, great events, and I think it really did raise the bar of the sport of the crossover between motocross and enduro.
100%.
Yeah,
It was like in the middle.
Filled a gap.
And of course, obviously, Western been going a lot more years than we had.
Yeah.
But I think it just, for a motocross rider then, he could come in and go, this is a bit of me because it's rough, exactly what you said, whooped out straights.
And it's a lot of time on your bike for your money.
Time on your bike and fitness. So, we've had some good motocross riders come back in, Ryan Vose and all these people.
Yeah.
They were good motocrossers, came across and really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I think, that's what was always good. Rob Meek, plenty of people have come and had a go at these 3 hours and loved it. And yeah, we ran Matchams Park, we ran Trentham Gardens, and Hawkston Park, and we did that for lots of years. And it was thanks to Tony that really then diversified me as a rider into running events. He was always there to help me. Families were all helping as well. Kids were obviously pretty young, and at that time we were just with the kids, getting the kids cross-country racing going, and then obviously that's where Jack and Harry then rode most weekends at our events.
How much did it open your eyes running because obviously you've always been the other side of the fence on the track, and we go to events all throughout our lives and we see it happening, but until you actually step into that world of running events, it is early. It's a real eye opener, isn't it? It's
an eye opener. I mean, I was still naive to it all because we had a lot of people that helped. Yes, it was kind of my name that was being used, and obviously I was still riding some of the events, so that was important for the series that Paul Edmondson was racing, David Knight who was racing Ryan Vose, and that really did evaluate the events. We used to have like trials riders used to come. I mean, Dougie's done some stuff, and all these guys have come across and done it, and just enjoyed it. But there were the glory years, and of course, really moving forward. Great time running the events. We run a lot of practice days now, some sprint stuff. Honestly, right now, I love just running a normal practice day.
Yeah,
really?
Because I've had them great years of running events, and I can go, and believe it or not, you're going to think I'm mental, but I just now on a practice day check wristbands.
Yeah.
I check wristbands, and when watching riders go on and off the track, give a bit of a rider's briefing. And you know what? I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. And
there was a lot of stress putting a race on.
And the big races, we all know, the big races is a lot of stress. And it's just the fact that you never know what can happen, potentially is going to happen, other than the more people, the more riders, the more hassle.
Absolutely.
And that's it. So 100 riders on your practice day, I'm happy.
Then that escalates to fans, and then you've got the same issue with the amount of spectators. Once spectator numbers start going up,
and,
you're like,
if you get one idiot for every 100 people there, it's okay when there's only 100 people there.
Yeah.
But when you've got 30,000, there's a lot of idiots.
So, on my kind of career from the event side of it, I've moved on now to do some of the bigger events such as the World Championship.
You're doing indoor stuff now.
Indoor stuff. Did Enduro Champions, which was a typical me, bit like you. Yeah, it's a great idea at the time. Let's go and go in. And then all of a sudden it kind of clashed with some other events, but the riders and all this, and ended up losing quite a few quid, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I can laugh about it.
Was that the same weekend as Nations?
Same weekend as the Nations. But, for us, what I wanted to achieve with that event was bringing Enduro GP guys, Holcomb Freeman, against the Enduro Cross, Super Enduro guys of Johnny and Billy. Fortunately, Billy didn't ride because he was still injured or he was getting ready for Sea to Sky, and some hard Enduro guys all into the mix, which is what we used to do with the Fast Eddy events. Everybody used to come and have a go. When I was doing the racing with David, we were crossover riders, so we would do like Enduro GP, but we'd also do the indoor series. Now it's really specialised. So the indoor guys, Johnny and Billy do that. They do a bit of outdoor stuff, but it's very rare that they'll do the odd GP, but that's about it really.
It's almost in the off-road world, putting you under the Enduro bracket, it's almost like it's becoming Supercross, motocross in Enduro. Like you got your indoor specialists now.
And then your outdoor specialists. Like in the UK, Billy and Johnny have really elevated that the standing of that stuff. Because I've never heard of it. Really, but now it's big news. And your brother's his mechanic.
Yeah,
Lee's Billy's mechanic. So you got a hotline into Billy.
Yeah. I mean, I helped. To be fair, the guy that spotted Billy was Julian. And Julian Stevens spotted Billy, and he said, I'm going to help this lad, and got Billy going on an enduro bike. Okay. And I remember,
he was a trials rider, wasn't
he? Who?
Billy.
Trials
rider, yeah.
Yeah, Trials, absolutely lunatic and breaking bikes for fun.
Big old boy on a trials. Okay.
Some of his sponsors that we talk about at the indoor, because they're from obviously Newcastle, and they help us with the track build. And he was saying, Billy would bring the bike back in two pieces and he'd fix it and let him go back out the next day trialing. But I think, when Julian got hold of him and he said to me, he said, I just said, what do you think? So I kind of was riding, probably not as good as I used to, but I was, I could get a bit of a lick on. And I remember going through some trees and I thought, well, he's one of them kids. He wanted to race. We were doing a training school and all he wanted to do was jump stuff, launch stuff and rip round as you do. And went through trees pretty quick and looked back and he was still on my you-know-what. And I thought, you just know. Yeah. You just know. And I said to Julian, I says, he's got it, he has. And he says, well, how do you know he's got it? I said, I can just tell. Yeah. I said, I went through them trees as fast as I dare, thinking that I'd just pull away a little bit from him. And I didn't. He was right on me, you-know-what. So
similar story. I remember
from that day.
Roger Harvey said in his podcast when he came on about trying to shift 4P at the Hawkstone, didn't he? Same thing. Yeah. People saying about this lad could be something, and that's exactly what Roger said. I did a race at Hawkstone. He goes, I'm going to lay the hammer down and I'll drop him. Yeah. 3 laps later, he's still there. He's thinking, maybe not.
Yeah, it's right. And with the experience of someone like Roger, you kind of know. And I did, and I was happy because, again, look at the career Billy's had and look where he is today. Amazing.
Yeah, done really well for himself.
Yeah, really well.
I mean, it was like we said in episode 1, it was kind of almost in the stars that you were going to be in the sport with the family background and everything like that. But the next turn after running events, and now obviously you're still running them indoor events, but sandwiched in and around all that is something altogether different that you'll now find yourself doing. Yeah. Which is, I mean, for those that don't know, explain what another job that you have that is riding bikes, but something altogether different. What is it?
So I was obviously lucky enough in 2016 to get the call up to do Jason Bourne. So
do Jason Bourne? What do you mean? Do Jason Bourne?
to do the film Jason Bourne.
Okay,
Rob. Yeah, to
do
what? The film.
Do what? Then?
So obviously
stunt stuff. Obviously,
yeah, stunt stuff. So I got the call up to basically ride motorbikes in films.
Yeah,
and from there, from Jason Bourne 2016 with. Doubling for Matt Damon, so I know what you're going to say. You look nothing like Matt Damon. I get that.
Uncanny.
It's uncanny, but it's amazing what a bit of a wig and this will do to you. So this actually started probably nearly it's getting on for a 6 to 8 year career of doing stunt stuff, which is mad.
I mean, the pinnacle has got to be that James Bond, the last James Bond film, jumping up that wall and landing in the square.
Yeah.
I mean that was it wasn't like special effects. I mean they made the ramp look like brickwork on special effects, but you did it in real time. Yeah, and you had to do it. Tell me if I'm wrong. In a certain time frame because the light in the sky was all.
Yeah, the light and the wind and all this type of stuff, which we just take. Well, you don't even think about that, do you?
You can't even run up to it, can you? It's not like I'll just do a couple.
No, I mean obviously we did all the breakdown and we did all this and that and the other, and I just remember
no helmet.
Let me put a helmet on for that, to be fair.
Did they?
Yeah, because it's like anything.
It's massive.
It's massive.
Yeah,
it's like Robbie Madison at the Arc Triumph thing at Vegas.
Yeah.
Massive.
I mean, it was a lot of a mini version for that because what that guy did there. It's like wow,
was someone else.
Fair play, but it's. Obviously, Robbie had done all his homework, and what he executed there was so special.
Yeah, it was really impressive.
The interesting part for us was, first of all, I'd never hit a freestyle ramp in my life. Secondly, we'd only decided that was going to happen while we were there.
Oh,
yeah. So there was no practice. People are going. It was a biggest jump for me. Don't get me wrong.
What bike you on?
So we were
jump for him. It's a big jump. We were on a Triumph.
It's bloody massive.
We were on a Triumph,
like an Africa Twin Triumph. We're talking a motocross bike here.
I know it's like Evil Knievel shit, and he's playing it down.
So no, it was but again, you remember the guy Lee Morrison?
Yeah, well, we spoke about him.
So Lee Morrison is one of the best stunt coordinators in the UK, but in the world, obviously, and he was doing the Bond stuff.
Yeah.
Another stunt coordinator was Gary Powell. He's the guy that got me on Jason Bourne.
Okay.
So Robbie Madison should have done Jason Bourne. Unfortunately, Robbie got hurt. So again, this is where Jamie Dobb came in. They were looking for a guy that's willing to ride without a helmet, technical sections, upstairs, downstairs, and ripping through the streets. And Jamie says, I've got just the guy for that. So he put me forward, and I went down and had an interview. So it was kind of weird, you know. I had to go down to the studios, got a bike and was ripping round, and then had to put Katie Bullock, who's a really good stunt woman now, on the back.
Trials rider though, wasn't she?
Ex-trials rider, yeah. And started doing
as well, though.
Yeah, doing all the drifting, and basically they wanted to see the foot peg scraping and all this. So, you know, have you done this? Yeah. Well, obviously I've not done any supermoto, had I? But
no, but
you got bike control.
Mostly, yeah.
I think that's the big thing for me. They could see that the bike control was there, and I got the job with Jason Bourne, which was great.
That was riding big bikes. I've seen that thing in your office.
So yeah, that was it was a 450 Husky, but they put all big tanks and everything on it.
BMW police bike.
That's it, yeah. So I've still got that, a bit like you with your collection. So I kept the police bike.
I think it's massive.
It's big. Yeah, it's big. Done and got the job done, and they were happy. And of course, I was happy because I'd never been paid as much money to ride a motorbike in my life.
Well, yeah, and we've spoken a few times when you're on set, waiting around in Tunisia or wherever you are.
Yeah.
Until like 10 to 5 when we got to go.
Yeah.
Because that's where the light's in the sky. That's when we got to go.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, okay. And he's like, I'm sitting around all day waiting.
I think that was the big thing with the Bond jump was, you know, people will look at it and go, oh yeah, it was all right. You know, you come around the corner, your third gear, you're like blipping it, and then you're like literally driving up the face of it and landing onto the square. But
there's no run up to it, man.
One time I was just sat there an hour. I was just sat there an hour and then be like, standing by.
Thinking about it.
You got your comms on.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
And I'd got Jamie Dobb was there with the radio, so it was all going through him. And he stood then, he's like tapping you on the shoulder, and you're just getting ready to go, and they go, no, standing down. And then you're like, wow. So you get all fired up to do it, and then you stop. And then literally, it could be 10 seconds later, they're all revved up again because the lights moved or something. And of course,
adrenaline is just spiking and going. Your clipper muscle must be.
Yeah,
on
that film, this opening sequence, you were the bad guy on one thing, and then James Bond on the other.
Yeah.
So the bad guy with the funny eye, that was him as well.
So this. Yeah.
All right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, with Rob Owen following it.
Yeah. So Rob
I knew Rob was on the cameras.
Rob's unreal. Yeah. He was like following us with all the
massive cameras.
With like ridiculous amount of cameras on, but he has been involved with the industry for quite a while, and again, he just does an unbelievable job of it.
One of my favourite stories, I'm not interjecting all the time, is Paul told me they had a problem with traction. It was dusty and them cobble streets, and you were struggling to get grip. And Lee Morrison thought they got the local Coca-Cola distribution place to fill up a Bowser full of Coke, spray the streets down, and when it dries, it goes sticky.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of his old tricks that he'd done. Basically,
not cheap
spray
it
on the floor.
Bottle.
And it was just to get.
I think they would have got a deal. Bit of product placement. Let's just squeeze that into the film somewhere.
But no, it was amazing how tacky it went.
Yeah, spray it down, let it dry.
Tricks you learn. He'll be doing that at some of his races.
Yeah, it's quite impressive, though, isn't it? Because
you'll see Billy out on when they get to Newcastle. He'd be out there pouring coke all.
He'd be like on site, bored to death all day, and just getting phone calls. I'm like, Paul, I'm trying to build an engine here. And he'd be like, oh, I'm doing this, doing that. So I knew what he was up to on a day-to-day basis, and he was bored.
Yeah. So it was, but no, I think the bomb thing was obviously a massive, massive part of being, you know, doing that jump, and then obviously with Daniel, Craig, and the bad guy as well.
Didn't they weigh you to go on set? Because like you have to be Daniel Craig, and he's quite a small bloke, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think what happened to me was Lee said, "Are you in shape, Morrison? Is you in shape?" And of course, how do you say
what shape? No, you should have said. Which shape are you looking for?
Yeah, and because you just know with Lee, he's dead straight to the point, and like there's no messing about, and you can't BS yourself. You've just got to be. And it's like, are you in shape? No. Get in shape. You've got 2 months. That was it. That was what he said. I had no idea that I was going to go and be the stunt double of James Bond. He just said, get yourself in shape. So I went down the gym. I actually did go down the gym, and I spent 2 months training me you-know-what off. Lost a bit of weight, just got a bit in better condition, as it were. And when he saw me, he says, I said, I can see you've been training, because he's got eyes everywhere.
Really?
Honestly, yeah. It's like, when you're like looking at a bike, you can see everything on that bike. You'll be the same.
Yeah.
He's exactly the same on a movie set. There could be cars, bikes, all going down a shot, and he'll be like, he'll know if you're on your phone. Not that you're on your phone, but he would know. He's that switched on. And he's like, yeah, okay, 3, 2, 1, you're jumping. Right, go, catch him up. And he's literally coordinating it in your earpieces by watching. It's amazing.
I can't remember which film it was. It was a Bourne one, I want to say. And there was like the bad guys on the bikes chasing. And when you'd be like, that's Niter, that's Dougie,
oh, yeah,
that's Paul, that's Dob. And you can just see the different riding stuff. It's really weird.
No,
I
right.
know all them.
You can.
And you can see it when you know who it is.
Yeah. No, and
it's quite weird to see.
I think as well, it's like you can't be riding too neatly. That's what I learned since I did the job, is you've got to ride like naturally. So if you're in a chase, you got to think you're in a chase, not pretend you're in a chase, think you're in a chase.
So it looks more realistic.
Yeah. So you'll see some of the shots on there where like the thing's just lighting up and the back end's drifting.
That's what they want.
And that's what they want. And I was literally, when they were like 3, 2, 1 action, it was just give it a big handful and drop the clutch and just let it do whatever it wanted to do natural.
Yeah.
So,
and this paved the way, because that was the Triumph bike. That was obviously a big part of the James Bond thing, the Triumph thing.
Yeah.
And then since then, I've seen you doing some presentation stuff at Triumph, and like being a dealer, like a brand ambassador as such.
Yeah. So that was a massive turning point in my career to end up where I am today. Was the Bond film.
Yeah.
Because Triumph supplied the bikes for Bond. Triumph were then in the process of obviously doing an off-road bike.
Yeah.
So when I finished the Bond the project, as it were, and did a lot of after stuff for them, like did some, like days, promotional days at the bike shows, even some charity auctions, which was really pleasurable, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get onto that story. I haven't forgotten that story.
No, I didn't think you would, Jeff.
No,
so how many bikes did they supply for that film? Just a matter of interest. Just a matter of...
I think there was probably about 12 bikes all in all. There was like the Scramblers, which we used, and the Tigers.
Okay.
So the Tiger, I did a couple of decent jumps on the Tiger, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Big old thing.
Like, well, Justin Barkley built them.
Yeah.
So it weren't like, no, we're going to build a little tabletop. No, we'll build a double jump, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So launching that over.
Yeah. Did you have to go and try them down at his place at Cuss's? Was that
No,
another thing? Because I know that he built some stuff to test there before it went to the movie set.
No, I just end up doing the stuff while I'm there. It's mental, but all good. So yeah, I mean that's
is all filmed in Tunisia, was it?
No, Scotland, mate.
Oh.
Yeah, Scotland was the big chase, which was beautiful. It was really nice up there, other than the midges. And then the lot where I did all the jump and everything was in Matera in Italy. Real nice place that you'd never, ever thought you'd get to rip a motorbike and a car around the place, but we did.
That's what Bond films are all about.
That's what they are. But the locations, I will say, were stunning. Really stunning.
What other films you done? Because I remember seeing a picture of you dressed like a Star Wars bloke.
So yeah, I've done Star Wars.
That was just a party.
Rode a speeder bike, so a snowmobile with a set of wheels on the front.
Okay.
So yeah, I've done Star Wars, Back in Action, which I don't think that film's out at the moment. A couple of ones in Portugal. Again, I'm not like a film boffin, so I've got no idea. But like, I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I enjoy doing the film stuff. There's some stunt guys that do it, proper stuntmen as I call them.
Yeah.
Like literally take one for the team in a big way.
Yeah,
like ride into the wall or get literally pulled off the back of the bikes. And those guys, sometimes I'll go along and help them set the bikes up for what they want to do, because at the end of the day, it's their job. The specialist stuff, like with the Jason Bourne, where you're going over a lot of different surfaces and you've got someone on the back, you're not wearing a helmet, then of course I enjoy that because it's very technical. And I was always a technical rider, and being able to transfer that into a movie job, again, has been phenomenal.
It's such a different world. I remember when I used to work for Mark Banks, like Bickers they used to do a lot of films. They did a lot of all the stunt stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like all TV stuff mainly. A lot of film stuff. I mean, some of the stories. That's for a whole nother episode. But they are off the scale mental what they got away with.
Yeah, no, I mean, they, you know, the stuff that they create, that they build and they film and that, they are, and it's quite funny
Real
because,
specialists,
you've got specialists, and of course, like Paul Bickers now that's doing the Bickers stuff. I get to see him a lot. You get to see Rob Herring.
Yeah.
You know, you get to see all these people that even Kieran Clark, he's involved with camera bikes now.
There's quite a few, you know, Gary Hoptroff done it.
Gary again.
Dylan Woodcock is following his dad into it. So quite a few.
So there's
Seems
lots
to be
of
a bit of
guys.
a natural progression because, I mean, if you're a film guy, who do you get to do this stuff?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you know, the extreme sports is a popular thing.
Yeah.
Always has been. You know what I mean? So to have superhero jump on a bike and run away or chase somebody.
I mean,
down.
I was glad on the Bond thing that, you know, there was a really big jump that was planned, like massive, and I think that would have taken probably a freestyle guy to do it, because if I'm honest, you know, I wasn't that type of guy, but that jump was still quite technical because you had to like get over the wall, as it were.
Because when you see the aerial shot, you kind of go up and then it almost drifts you over.
It's almost like someone's blowing you over, because
it did look like that.
You know, and that was the other thing that I wanted to be mindful, that it wasn't like a freestyle. And the bikers, again, you're not sat on them bikes, you're sat in the bikes. So when you're sat in the bikes, you can't get forward, so you're kind of in it. But
it's a big deal because they used it on all the trailers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, to use that jump on the movie trailer when you got like 30 seconds to sell a film, and that's 10 seconds of it.
Yeah. I would go as far as to say it's one of the genuine iconic Bond moments, and you know, over the 25 years or however many years it's been going.
Yeah,
obviously there's
really
key ones.
But
that is for me. I'm not just saying it's Paul saying it's one of those.
Yeah.
Well, you can relate how hard that is.
Yeah.
A lot of this other stuff you can't really relate.
Yeah.
But that you're thinking, I'd never do that in a million years. You know what I mean? That is impressive.
Yeah, but it sticks. That jump particularly will stick in the mind of a lot of people, I think. You know, like Live and Let Die, they did the car twirl, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And because, like you say, because they used it in the trailer and everything like that.
Obviously, as far as the film people are concerned, that was obviously a big part.
Yeah.
For them to use it.
That's obviously, for me, looking back now, you know, even if I didn't do another movie job again, you know, you can't go any better than that. So privileged to get the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
And again, there's so many other people that were helping, you know, from like Jamie, from all the guys. They give you a boost, because when you're sat, like I said, at the bottom of that ramp for an hour and you're waiting, you can't just go around the corner and have a look, you know, like and eye it up. You wait and you go when you're told. You
perform when you're told.
And I think one time in practice, I did have a bit of a, you know what, I didn't hit it quick enough. And I remember I landed the back wheel on the wall and just plopped off.
Well, that wouldn't have done your nerves any good for the big moment.
Well, at least then you know you got to go a bit quicker.
Well, that was it, because Lee was at the bottom of the ramp shaking his head going, and next time he was you know, wind it on. And the next time, safe to say, kid, I wound it on.
How many times did you do it?
I did it 3 for camera, as it were. And I had about 5 practice runs, that was it. But bearing in mind, as I say, they built the ramp, and I literally rode up it twice, just onto the top, and then obviously launched it into some boxes.
Yeah.
So they prepared it. It weren't just like winging it. You don't wing that type of stuff.
No,
there's
an element of having to do it.
Still a limited amount of time though, because you said, going back to Robbie Madison's jump, you know, in Vegas. Obviously, as amazing as it was, he had a lot of preparation for that. They obviously built all the scaffold into the same height for him to practice on and all that kind of stuff.
I think my biggest, thing was, as I said, it was I'm glad that I was jumping up.
Yeah.
Because I don't like going down stuff.
Yeah.
I prefer to jump up stuff.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Like every time we were going to set,
that's a human nature.
The wall, all the lads would look over the wall and say, "Oh, you're going to be jumping up there and all this." And it was a bit of a joke, but I was like, "Oh, it's a long way.
Yeah.
It's a long way." But by the time you got the ramp halfway up it and stuff, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah. You were having to go from one side of the ramp to the other.
The big thing,
to get across the wall.
You was having to get the angle.
It was parallel with the wall. You had to go up and then kind of turn left up the ramp.
The thing was,
kind of arc it.
Yeah.
If I didn't do what I did genuinely, and there was a line that I was following, you could have clipped a foot peg.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. People didn't see that, and I don't like.
And this ain't on a trials bike, is it? This is on a big road bike.
So, you know, you
I
hit
know
it.
it's built for its suspension and whatever, but it's still a big
well,
heavy
we
thing.
had, to be fair, we had a few mods, obviously. You know, we took
Jesus.
a lot of weight off of it and did what we did.
Still a lot of bike.
But anyway, I'm glad that was kind of chapter was done, because obviously it got me in with Triumph.
Yeah.
And
so you've run your own team now for a couple of years, and then now you've landed the Triumph gig.
Yeah, so after getting all the PR done and helping Triumph with the bomb thing, which was great for me and great for them, the off-road bike.
Have you been involved with the testing of the off-road bike?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know you've done
just a tad.
So yeah, no. Again, once they kind of realised my background and stuff, and there were some people within Triumph put me forward to help with the durability testing.
Yeah.
So my team, which was obviously a race team, we then took the riders from the race team and got onto durability. So our job was to put hours on the bikes, test the parts, which was UK based.
Yeah.
And what a project.
Yeah, I know the bike's ace, isn't it? Fair
You
play.
know, yeah, the bike is good. As I said, we've done a lot of work with it. It's not all down to us, because the amount of people that have been involved in the project, and you know, when there has been an issue, these people have jumped in, got it sorted, and I wouldn't have thought many manufacturers out there that could do that.
No.
And they've done it, and look where they're at in the first year of racing.
That's incredible.
Those durability tests are long days as well, aren't they? I've done a few of them for Kawasaki.
Yeah.
No, it's really not. Like, again, it sounds like, you know, but when you've got technicians going, you come in and you beat, just like quick fill up, check a few things, out you go again then.
Yeah, so we were a little bit more.
I did not enjoy doing them at Kawasaki.
We had a really good group of people. You know, the lads that we had were solid, and each bike would on a maximum day do 5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't all day, every day riding.
No, but like when you've got like 4 bikes going, Robert, like 5 hours per bike, and you're doing 20 hours a day, and you've got.
Oh yeah.
It was heavy, but the bikes, you know, I think the 250 that they got signed off was 300 hours.
Yeah.
Really?
And it was a hard 300 hours.
Exactly. You got to really push
So we
them.
know, you know, how good the bikes were, chassis and all this was incredible. So it was a pleasure again to be a part of something that's British, 40 minutes down the road from my house.
Yeah.
Good people.
Yeah.
And again, after running my own race team for 3 years, believe it or not, I finally managed to get the role that I've been wanting.
So you're team manager. It's not your team.
No,
Their team, your team manager.
Yeah, so it's Triumph's team, and it's basically I'm going to manage the.
And that's based out of Nuneaton, where they are.
No, so it's based out of my workshop.
Oh, okay, cool.
In the Midlands, but
Nice.
obviously we've got some foreign mechanics as well. So we've got a French guy and some Portuguese people. So with the Enduro GP side, that'll be on the road quite a bit.
Yeah.
Using my place as a base. And then obviously Johnny, now that we're full on with Johnny, his mechanic is in southern France. So again, Johnny's in Spain a lot of the time, so it makes sense.
Cool.
So yeah, I've got that to manage now. And I've got to say, with a little smile on my face, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, isn't it?
Well, I think
it's a well-funded thing, and they're good guys. They've got good product. From looking from the outside in, I mean, I'm not involved in any way, shape, or form, but it looks a hell of a program from the outside looking at.
And it's fresh. You're kind of joining it pretty much at the start, so that makes it exciting as well. And I should imagine, like you just said, running your own team. I've done it. You've done it, obviously, you know, to a degree, and you think, yeah, let's do that because you want to challenge yourself, and it's great. But when I was running my own team, and then I got a call one winter from Kawasaki to say, look, would you actually come and run Team Green rather than us supporting your team?
Yeah.
Trust me, before the sentence was even finished by Ross, but yes,
Yeah,
I'll take that
do
just purely because of, like, you still get the benefits of running the team, but that pressure of having to find where the resources are coming from and all those other things. I mean, you still, you know, so
yeah, no, I mean, I ran the team because I wanted to give something back to the sport and the riders, and it was mainly aimed at UK riders, because in Enduro, all the good UK riders will ride for Italian teams, because again, you know, they're the teams with the money and the budgets. So like we were up against that. And in the two years, like my main rider was Jamie McCanny. We managed to win an Enduro GP in the E1 class, which for me was obviously unbelievably proud moment. We've had some great results as well during the time with obviously Jack's rode for us. We've had a lad now, Michael Pearson. He's on the team. And again, they've all given me lots of podiums and all this. Jamie was third in the world last year. So, you know, we've had a good run, but the time was right. And when obviously Triumph were looking into doing an Enduro team, then I was, for once, sat at the back of the classroom, put my hand up first.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it? By that point, you've already seen enough.
So who's on the team? You got, obviously...
So right now we've got, obviously, I'm hoping to, it's not announced yet for Enduro GP, but I'm hoping to keep the two guys that I've got, Jamie and Michael. Johnny's been announced, as you know, and he's doing unbelievably well, mate, really switching from a 2-stroke to a 4-stroke. And we're running, you know, you can say it, like, honestly, we're running a stock bike. You know, that's it. We're running.
I'm not name dropping. I was talking to Ivan Tedesco about this at Natalie, and I said, "Oh, here's the bike, kid." He gives that production bike's really good. He said, "Race bike, we've got a bit more work to do."
Yeah.
But you're against factory KTM, factory, you know what I mean? And that is, and he's like, you know, they're getting podiums, but he said that the production bike's as good as anything. Yeah. It's really good.
I mean, when I rode the first, what we call the first bike that came off the production line, got shipped to Spain, and I went round like a car park at Puigdemont's, and I remember like jumping off it, going, "Holy, you know what?
It's gonna be all right.
It's good." And they were saying, "Well, look, you've just rode around a car park. How the hell can you tell?" The response, and it was literally in third gear on a 250, and I was like literally on and off the throttle, and it was just pulling from nothing. I said, well, you know, I've rode enough bikes in my time to know that, you know, that was going to be good, and it was good.
Yeah, we had one into measure for Ty a couple of weeks ago, and engineering wise, things well made.
Yeah,
no question.
Yeah,
I haven't ridden one.
No, I mean,
but I'm telling you now, taking it apart, you're like, this is nice.
Well, we done like durability on a lot of competitors' bikes, as you do. Yeah, because that gives you then the understanding of how long things last. Yeah. So, you know, when they turned around to us and said, "Right, then you've got to do 300 hours on a bike," I went, "You what? What do you mean 300 hours? Yeah, 300 hours." And what Triumph did, they brought like the road bike durability side into off-road, which no one really knows. And I didn't really get it because I'm thinking it's just too many hours you don't need. But it wasn't until, especially with some of the competitor bikes, that after 200 hours, we were seeing some big issues. Yeah. Like big issues. And it was interesting because, you know, I'm not going to sit here and go, "Oh, well, that happened and that happened," because that's not what you do. No. We use that as a comparative for our bike. And in honesty, you know, our bike didn't do that then, and it didn't do that then. So
we have it with some of the bigger teams we do with tie bolts. Yeah. Like we'll send them like linkage bolts, and then you'll get an email through and it's broken. You're like, shit. But it's done 300 hours. Yeah. You know, it showed marks at 200 hours and it's broke at 300 hours. And I'm like, well, they only do 3 Grand Prix normally. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's fine.
No, you're right.
You're well within your window. You're fine.
So the durability program really kick-started the program with me and Triumph. And yeah, like now sitting back, they've got a great production bike. You know, is it perfect? Nothing's perfect, but it's pretty damn good.
I think it's awesome. It's a British company.
It's British.
Right in the mix. I think it's the best thing in the world.
And, you know, what they've done in MXGP, I mean, I went to an MXGP got hospitality. And
they've come out swinging.
And I'll tell you something exactly, mate.
If it's not about the bike, I tell you what, they're right up there in the hospitality stage.
Yes, but they come, you know, they come out swinging with a bike and a team. And I, like anyone, we know what we're on with. We've been around the job a long time. Yeah. And that was a well-oiled machine of that Grand Prix team. Yeah. And the bikes are well-oiled as well. And fair play, you know, and this is what people don't understand. That team's not had one DNF. No. Not one DNF in its first year. That
in itself is impressive. And racing at that level.
And racing at that level and trying to compete against...
The factory bikes that are out there are well sorted, aren't they? I mean, really well sorted.
And I mean, you've got, you know, the 3 Austrian brands. Yeah. You've got the 3 Japanese brands that are also strong. Yeah. And then you've got the British brand. Yeah. And I'm proud and privileged to say that, you know, we were a part of that program. And
it's been
good.
Yes, particularly with the backstory, you know, regards of your career. Yeah. You know, that's a nice nice tie-in, isn't it? You know, to have obviously it's a British company, so I'm loving the fact that they've got behind an Englishman to front up the.
I mean, we all know,
without going overly political, but not like football where you've got like.
No, I mean,
but it's nice to have a British brand making waves with.
Yeah, very much so.
I was pleased when obviously I got the contact from Ian Kimber, who's the head of the off-road department, and he said, like, we want you to run the team. Obviously, we can't really ask anyone else now with your pedigree and what you've done. And I said, Was that
out of the blue though? That email? Did you kind of have inklings that it was coming? You must have had conversation prior to the email.
They knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah,
and I hope that they knew what they wanted to do, because with me from the start, I've been 100% straight with them, and I've told them when something's good and I've told them when something's bad, but I've explained why it might be bad and patted everyone on the back when it's good, because the effort that's gone into that bike, you just cannot imagine. And like now the outcome of what it's done, we've got the Euduro team and we're going to run and prove pretty much that a production bike can run up the front.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do.
I got no doubt of that. Of course, we got, prior to this being recorded, we got the Motorcycle Live coming up, so I'm sure they're going to be making a big effort and stuff there.
Yeah, I believe so. Got to go and do a day there for them.
Yeah.
With Johnny, I mean, great to have Johnny on board. Like you said, Rob, what Johnny and Billy have done for the off-road.
Oh my God, yes.
It's massive, and it's obviously helped with their the YouTube and their socials. Really, really strong. But again, going back to what we said, how much fun are they having?
Yeah.
They're prattling around, especially Billy.
Yeah.
But he's enjoying his time on the bike, and this is exactly how I was. Yeah. And when it's like that and it's not a chore, I just believe your career lasts longer.
And you get the best out of people.
And you have a lot of fun.
Well, that mirrors life itself, isn't it? Like if you're not enjoying like any line of work, if you're not enjoying it, you got to ask yourself, do I really need to be?
Yeah.
Is it time for a career change?
It's like podcasting. I love podcasting.
You love it?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than working on motorbikes, I can tell you that, mate.
It's just surviving the podcast without having to go to the toilet for us. And
yeah, exactly. That's what
we try
not to swear too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or interrupt.
I think, as I say, I think it's good. It's the first time for me that kind of been on a podcast to explain my career. So it's actually nice to be completely relaxed, off-grid, and just talking about the good times that we had.
Well, the thing is, what we try to get across as a podcast is like, we're not trying to catch you out. We're not trying to cause any problems. We're not trying to...
No, I get it.
...cause big ructions in the industry. We're friends, and hopefully that comes across that you're comfortable. We're comfortable in talking about,
Well, like I said, we've had some good times, and we've had some times that you probably don't want to talk about. But at the same time, there's been some, for me, there's been some sad times as well. Where
it's tough.
Where I've lost things, and it's like it's broke me. And I think
we don't need to throw you under the bus, because you did that yourself virtually in Italy or wherever it was.
Yeah.
In episode 1, riding into the front. We don't need to listen. I can't let you go without the clapperboard story.
Yeah, talk to us.
Just
about
lift that up for those that are watching, those that are hearing. Just give it a little clap. I don't think that. There you go. For those that are listening,
I paid £8 for that.
For those that are watching, that is a little clapperboard that Wobb's got, so we can start every episode. Because explain to everybody, Wobbs, who doesn't.
I've told everybody now. I'm bored of telling people.
Anyway, so that's Danny who edits the sound. But we were saying about, and going back to the movie world and how it's a different world, the money that they spend on movies and whatever, and you nearly got caught out with a clipperboard in a charity auction.
Yeah, well, put it one way, the clipperboard nearly cost me 30 grand, which I didn't have.
30? How'd you get a 30 grand for that?
Bit more than 7 quid than your one.
Well, it's a Bond one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
it's all got the writing on it, but what's
so how did it go down? So how did this happen?
So Bond, the owners of Bond, decided to do an auction with a lot of Bond items for charity.
That's cool.
Unbelievable.
Must raise some bank.
Raised about 7 million.
Did it?
So, JLR threw a Land Rover in there. Triumph, obviously, the Scrambler.
Yeah.
And Daniel, same sort of thing. He does his little speech explaining about the bikes.
Oh, that's cool.
And then there was clipboard, obviously. And it started with a clipboard, basically. And obviously, I'd not been to one of these auctions, so I got no idea on how much stuff fetches. So I'm sat I think on the front row or the second row, because obviously I had an invitation to go, because I would stand up and take applause for the bike and trying to get the bike. And in fact, the bike fetched 130 grand, which is amazing. Because
was that the actual bike you used?
It was one of the bikes. I think it was the bike I threw down on the floor.
That's it.
So yeah, in the scene where I was a good guy that
Wouldn't
time.
it be cool to actually own the bike that you did the stunt on?
Yeah. So
anyway,
where is that? You don't know where they ought to be.
Well, no, the guy bought it. They were bidding, and as I say, the bids just went mental. But going back to the board thing, obviously, he started it off the night, and it was got its little writing on. You need some writing on there.
Normally we do.
You've got no writing on there, so you need to put the writing on because it's worth more then.
Oh, we haven't got an indelible pen.
We haven't got the budget of a Bond movie.
So
can't keep afford to keep buying them.
They started the bidding off, and it got to about 30 grand. And for some stupid reason, I just went, flipping heck, and put my hand up. Next thing, it gone to 32 grand. So I'm like, I'm looking around, and like they're looking at me, and I'm thinking, and Martin Craven, he goes, bruv, you've just bid on that. Said, what do you mean? He goes, keep your hands down. So next thing, obviously, I'm like, wow.
Now you're panicking.
Now I'm panicking.
He's panicking more there than he was when he did the stunt.
Yeah,
I know
I'm like
money,
thinking.
kid. I can imagine your ass is going a little bit.
Well, not really, because it'd been phone a friend. I'd have phoned you. How are you paying for this, Wob? But no, luckily, obviously 32, and then next thing it went up.
Somebody outbid you.
I'll tell you something. My hands never moved for the rest of the night.
So happy.
They never moved, but I couldn't believe it. I was like,
Martin was feeding him drink because he kept his hand. He couldn't even drink for the rest of the night. Keep my hands in the pocket.
You know, I mean, look, I've sat on them now. You've got
it's breaking into a sweat just thinking about it.
But no, it was just funny, and like that happened, and I was like, wow. But when you see the movies, yes, they probably do make a lot of money, but when people do that type of thing, and all that money is going to charity,
that's impressive.
It's impressive. And all the people like I say, like Triumph and all these other people that supported it, they put a lot in. And
well, hopefully they get a lot out. They should.
And I think they do. I think that the Bond thing for Triumph was really good. It was great for me because it made someone that was like at the end of my career, still loving riding a motorbike. I got to show the public, that I still enjoy riding a motorbike, and when you need to put them on the line, we can still put them on the line.
Yeah.
So
I just think it's awesome that there's more than. Like Justin, we had on earlier today, and he went into the training school thing, has gone into that bit. There is opportunities when you're done with your career.
Yeah.
It's like with, like Tommy. Tommy's gone from just a guy at the end of his career to this. He's now an influencer.
Yeah, no, it's. I think it's like anything. You only get out what you put in.
Yeah.
And these guys are still putting in. Justin will be like out there training, and Tommy's doing his thing. And I know Tommy. He looks like he's having a laugh and stuff. But I bet you when the helmet's on. A bit like myself, when your helmet's on and you're like, I'm there to do a job, you'll give it 100%. Because I still do now. And I mean, it might be only on a movie job, you're going quick for 5-10 seconds. But trust me, like when they say,
and like Tommy comes across as like, Joey Essex, village idiot. He's far from that.
No, he plays the part.
He plays the part very well.
He does.
He's no fool. Well. He's nobody's fool, that kid.
Very well indeed. Well, look, what a brilliant career, and it's still ongoing. That's the thing.
It is.
Yeah.
How long it'll go on for, I don't know.
Depends what job you do. Depends how good a job you do.
It depends if there's any more jumps and I manage to make it over the top of them. But no, I'm happy doing what I'm doing. Really happy to be supporting some British
riders.
Boys
are doing good as well.
Boys are doing good, yeah. Obviously, like looking forward to getting Harry. He'll be on board, keeping the Fast Eddy flag going. Jack's going to be doing his own thing next year. So he's in Wales. But no, couldn't be more proud of what I've done.
No,
and obviously thankful to all the people that have got me there.
I bet you never imagined that. Nice, Rob. Nice in.
Yeah. Cheers,
nice in.
Okay.
You probably didn't imagine that when you were riding around on wasteland on a push bike.
No, I think that's
back in the Midlands.
It's right, and it was.
Imagine that if somebody had come up to you then.
Yeah.
Because Bond movies were around then. We are that old.
Yeah.
And said, "Oh, look, you're going to be in a Bond." You'd
no
chance. Mate, yeah, you keep doing that, kid. You'll be in a Bond movie one day.
Yeah, no, good. I say, and it's been good to come up here and go through the career and actually just those moments of madness and enjoyment, just reminisce on them all.
I'm going to look for this hole in the hedge in Corona when I go there next.
I can tell you exactly where it is.
Okay, give me a little pinpoint. Yeah, send me Google Maps and I'll go and find it. Paul, it's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been great having you on for 2 episodes. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Wobbs, I think this is going out. If I got my timings right on this, we're somewhere between Christmas and New Year. Okay,
so Christmas presents are out of the window now.
Yeah, Christmas presents are out of the window.
So if you've been given some money for Christmas,
nice Wobbles,
and you don't want to spend it on, I got a Ryan Phillippa or a Damon Bradshaw shirt for you, £100 a pop. There's a few left. Get them bought. If we've still got them, I don't know, because Christmas is going to be busy for us. Or T-bars. Get yourself some T-bars. They do love them T-bars.
Can I donate anything for you guys if it's going to charities and auctions? Because I'm a goodwill type of guy at the moment.
Clipboard?
No.
Maybe we need to start doing a few giveaways and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll look at that'll be the next thing. Like and subscribe. Entered into something.
There you go.
Win something about that.
But I always like giving some. I mean, you've got enough of my helmets here.
Mate, everything you've ever given me is in this room.
Yeah. Helmet.
Everything you've ever given me is in this room.
It's all in here.
There's loads of stuff.
So that's good stuff.
In fact, you've probably got more in here than anybody else.
Yeah, I'd say.
I should hope so.
Yeah.
We had some good times, mate. But yeah.
Yes, we did.
So that's it. Finishing off the year right there. Have a great New Year's Eve if you get out and party or if you're staying at home doing all that kind of stuff.
When you're booking your holidays, do not book a holiday for August bank holiday.
Don't do that.
VMXDM Foxhill, do not clash. People say to me all the time, I'm going on holiday. Well, don't. How about that?
if you're at a loose end as well in January, February time, in the dark winter months, get yourself out to an arena cross.
It's coming up on the 4th.
And of
Birmingham,
course,
the first one.
I don't know your plans regards of 25, if you'll be able to do indoor events at that stage. So, but if you have, picture them.
Well,
Get them
March the 1st, we've got
there
the World Championship.
Where's that?
Newcastle? Super Enduro World Championship at Newcastle.
Why is it so far away, kid? Can't you do it in like Gloucester?
It's 3 hours on a train. 3 hours on a train.
I like a train
if you're
journey.
lucky.
I do like a train journey.
With our network.
Well, you might be, but I've been up there plenty of times on a train and it's easy.
I like a train journey.
Yeah.
So I have to set me alarm because
in case you sleep.
You wake up in Edinburgh.
Yeah, or Plymouth. Yeah. So there you go. It's been a good year getting these Torq Moto podcasts.
Yeah, we've done well. We're happy with them. Yeah, the numbers are good. Everybody seems to like them. We just got to keep on. It's hard, not hard work getting people in, but trying to get people's schedules to line up so they can come in and we can get filming. That is the hard bit. Not people want to come on. It's good.
Well, you give me 24 hours notice, so that was all right.
Check invoices in the post, by the way.
Yeah.
So there we go. We're going to continue with these. We're looking forward to a very strong 25, getting more guests in. So again, thanks for the year of following us. Keep
Happy
liking,
New Year
subscribing. Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We're on it. Have a great time. Good New Year celebrations, and we'll see you in 25.
Cheers, then.